Hi guys, and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to be doing my part 2 of my dark stories behind Disney films. I'm sorry if I haven't done a video for 2 days. I did try to do a video yesterday, but there was so much noise here that I couldn't actually do it. If there's any noise today in the video, I apologise. I can't help that there's noise, there's always going to be noise, so my apologies. Please like this video and please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to click on the notification link so you're updated about any future videos. If you know from my last video, I talked about dark stories behind the Disney films, and I did Pinocchio and Sleeping Beauty. I talked about The Little Mermaid and Cinderella. I'm going to do 2 more for this part 2, and then I'm not doing any more after this, because there's loads and loads and it can end up being too many. I was going to do my scary stories, like my spooky urban legend stories, but I haven't really got one to sort of, do. I've not had one in the past few months now, so I'm not going to do it, and I'm just going to do this instead because it's more funner. So, the first Disney film I'm going to talk about is Snow White. And everyone knows the Disney film Snow White. There was a darker version, an original darker one, which was a lot of the dark stories were written by the Brothers Grimm, and it was 2 brothers that wrote them. In the original Disney film, obviously Snow White, she has an evil stepmother in the original story, and her mother died when she was very young, and her stepmother has this magic mirror in her house, and she uses it to see who the fairest of them all is. And obviously she runs away and goes into the cottage, goes to this cottage where the 7 dwarves live, then there's the Disney film. In the Disney film there's all the names of the dwarves, like Dopey, Grumpy, all this, and they work in a mine as well. And obviously it's, happily ever after. She falls in love with the prince after she gets kissed because she has a poisoned apple in her mouth, and they get married, and that's the Disney film. In the original Snow White, I would say it's pretty much the same. There was one, I don't know if it was Brothers Grimm, but when I was growing up, I used to read the story, and it was a bit different than the actual Snow White that you see in the Disney film. It wasn't much darker, but it was sort of like, the 7 dwarfs that said they would let her live there, but she had to not talk to strangers, and there was 3 things that stepmother tried to kill her off so she could be the fairest of them all. And the first one was a necklace, and she passed out and she was strangled, and then the dwarves came home and took the necklace off her. And then there was a comb. I think this was like another animated film. It wasn't Disney, and it was one I had on VHS at the time. And obviously she got a comb in her hair with poison on it, and she passed out, and the dwarves had to come home and take it out and said, don't open the door to strangers ever again if you want to stay here. And then the 3rd time it was the poisoned apple, and then she killed Snow White. She thought she killed Snow White. But in the Brothers Grimm version, it's pretty much like the 80s. The 80s film. There's an 80s film on Netflix that I watched and I'd never seen before, because I've watched the Disney Snow White and I've seen all the other Snow White versions. and it was pretty much the same. It was like the original story a little bit, and she just, I know there's this, like, Mandela effect, where everyone thinks she says mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall. She didn't actually say that. She says magic mirror on the wall, and she says it in this one. And in the end of the film, there's obviously Snow White and the prince get married, and she has to wear these shoes, these like shoes, and she has to dance around in these shoes, and she ends up setting ablaze, and she ends up, being on fire, and like she dies basically by dancing in these shoes because she's jealous, and she tries to stop Snow White from marrying the prince because I don't know whether it's the fact that she wants to be with him or she's jealous, and she just wants to be the fairest of them all still. But she ends up wearing these shoes and she sets on fire. That's the original story. The end was a bit gruesome, but it was probably pretty much the same. The brothers Grimm wrote it. And there was two brothers who used to write like dark tales. I have some of their stuff on, uh, my my phone. So yeah. Um, Second Disney film I'm going to talk about is The Pied Piper. And The Pied Piper, there was a Disney film called The Pied Piper. And it was, everyone knows the rhyme of The Pied Piper because I used to learn about it in school. And it's basically where a Pied Piper gets called to get to a village to get rid of a rat problem. And the kid, he says, if you don't, obviously he says, you better pay me or I will take your kids away from you. And they're all their kids are like disabled, kind of. One of the kids are disabled. I think most of them was anyway. And eventually he gets rid of all the rats problem. He has a whistle, which gets rid of all the rats away. But then the actual people, they don't pay him because they hate him. So he says, well, I'm going to take your kids away from you. And in the end, he takes all the kids away and they follow him because of the music. In the original, it was pretty much the same as the rhyme. But there was a rat problem and all that. And it was set in the place, I think it was in Germany, I'm not sure. And he, he took the kids away basically to another island, to like this unknown island. And he was basically horrible because they wouldn't pay him the money for the rat problem. In the Disney one, but it's a lot more darker, the Pied Piper one from the film. But he took him away to this place, and it was like a sort of like cave place, and a lot of the kids were like disabled, and they was abused a lot as well there. And they all went missing eventually, and I don't think they ever got returned to their parents to this day. I don't think. I don't know if most of them got killed or whatever. I can't remember now the actual thing. I'd have to look it up properly, but it's pretty much, dark as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the Disney films I'm going to talk about now. There is other ones like that I saw on Google, which was like The Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a dark story behind that, and there's a dark story behind Mulan and Rapunzel. I'll tell you about Rapunzel because there is versions I know of Rapunzel, so this will be my last one, Rapunzel. Rapunzel in the original, obviously it's called Tangled in the original Disney film, and she obviously falls in love with Finn Rider, who ends up being a thief and stuff. Everyone knows the Disney Tangled film of Rapunzel. The original was nothing like that. The original was pretty much the same, where she was trapped in a tower for eternity by this witch, because this witch took her away as a kid. And the prince would hear her singing every day, and he'd come and climb up to the ladder, and he'd obviously sit in with her. But then there was one day, there was one day that the witch came to her and asked her who was this man that she's been seeing, and her hair got cut off, like in the Tangled film as well. Except she has a power within her hair, I think it is. And she gets her hair cut off because she betrayed the witch, because she told her not to meet anyone. Basically, she disguises as Rapunzel, and the prince comes up to the ladder, and as she says, he goes, "Rapunzel, let down your hair," and the witch lets down the hair of Rapunzel, and he climbs up, and then as he reaches the window, the witch basically pushes him off the tower, and he falls into this bush of thorns, and the thorns get stuck in his eyes, and he can't ever see again. And then Rapunzel gets taken away to another land because of the prince, and obviously the prince can't see Rapunzel at all because of the thorns in his eyes. And then he hears Rapunzel singing, and he finds her one day as he's searching around, and he cries, and as he cries, the tears sort of mend his eyes, and the thorns come out, and they heal his eyes, and he can see Rapunzel again. And it's pretty much happily ever after, but that's the original. It was pretty much dark. I'm not sure who wrote the original Rapunzel, I'm not even sure, but that's Rapunzel. I remember reading about another version of Rapunzel, because I think there was a darker version of another story I used to read when I was younger. There's a lot of ones actually that I've heard of as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, guys, of me talking about all the dark stories behind Disney films. This is part 2. I also wanted to show people my phone, because my phone recently has updated to Android 12, because my phone was actually playing up to begin with. And now I've got a new update on it, and I was scared to update it because every time I update it, it glitches out, and I don't think it's been doing it recently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it a week, and I'm going to try and use it again and put my SIM back in this phone. I'm obviously not going to use it to film videos because it's not very good quality. I don't know, I've not tried it out yet, but this is Android 12. This is my Nokia 2.4. I actually got this phone because it was actually supposed to be the James Bond phone that he uses in James Bond No Time to Die, but then they ended up changing it to the higher Nokia, the 3.4. So I don't know why they changed it. I think it was because they recorded that and they just changed it because they thought that's a better upgraded phone. It had come out after this had come out, but there's several versions of the Nokia. I love Nokias as well. Obviously, I love this phone too, but I didn't like it a lot of the time because it kept glitching, but I think it's sorted itself out. But it looks really cool, and when you lock the screen, it does this, where it will show you the time, and it's quite big. Obviously got mountains on it. I've kept that on it because it's actually a screensaver that they put on it. And obviously the code thing is different as well. I won't actually put my code in for privacy reasons because I don't want to show people, but yeah. And the volume as well is a bit different. I'll show you the volume as well. I forgot about that. So the volume is let me see if I can show you. Just move it to here. Look, the volume goes up like this, and then it goes down. And this is Android 12. I was supposed to be getting it anyway because my phone is Android 1, and every time there's a new Android that comes out, I get the new one. So I'm going to leave it a week, and if it's fine, I might put my SIM back in it. But I'll definitely be using this phone for videos because it's perfect sound quality. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful Friday, guys. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you all, guys, in the next video. Bye, guys.